Ladies, gentlemen, Monday night news. I'm joined live by the ever youthful Glen Higgs. And Glen, how are you doing? How are you this evening?
I'm well, Stevan
Yes.
Bubaloas. Thanks for asking.
Welcome.
Bubaloas, sorry.
Bubaloas. Mate, so tonight, interesting topic of discussion. Auctions. What are they? Why are they happening?
Why are they happening?
What do we do?
We often have various seasons. We have duck season where you can hunt for ducks, rabbit season where you can hunt for rabbits, and now we're in the auction season. So always leading into Easter after Australia Day on the Great Northern Beaches, we'll conduct auctions.
Yeah.
We don't normally conduct them before Australia Day, but we do conduct them in the lead up to Easter.
Yep.
And with limited stock on the market, they're becoming ever more popular.
Yeah.
Some areas in Sydney, in the west eastern suburbs, everything's auction. Northern beaches, it's been primarily homes.
Yep.
But now we're seeing apartments, townhouses are being auctioned as well.
So I guess really two parts to the auction. Buying at an auction and selling at an auction.
Yes.
Let's tackle, where do you want to start, Glenn? Buying or selling?
I think let's start at buying.
Buying. So as a buyer, no doubt you have, as Glenn mentioned, when the property market heats up, everything seems to go towards the auction strategy. And as a buyer, some people have mixed feelings about it. Some people love it, absolutely love it. That's how they prefer to buy real estate. They can see where the competition is. Others completely dislike it. We'll try to avoid it. We quite often hear buyers say, look, I'm not coming. If it's an auction, I'm not going to come. Glenn, what are your thoughts on buying?
Well, the reason why people would dislike auctions is there's uncertainty with the outcome. So people, they don't know if they're going to buy the property, but really when you go and make an offer on the property, you don't know if you're going to buy it as well. But any time where we're unsure of an outcome, that causes stress. If we know what's going to happen, then we're normally not that stressed. But buying at an auction, it's a transparent process. Like for myself, do I like buying at auction? Yeah, I do. I can see where all the bids are. I can see where all the buyers are. I can see what the price is going. I don't have regret at the end of the auction because I knew where the price finished up. There's no sort of games of ducks and drakes or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a very transparent process.
Oh, yeah, that's a great word. Transparent is really what's key with auction.
But for buyers, you might buy 3 properties in your life. You might only buy 2. It can be stressful. But it is a process which most agents will take you down, especially on freestanding homes on the northern beaches. Now also apartments, townhouses as well.
Yeah.
What do you need to do as a buyer to get ready for auction? Let's make it easy.
Let's go from day one. Day one, you've gone in.
Okay.
You've viewed the property. You absolutely love it. It's the one you want to buy. From that first step, I guess, converse with the agent. Obviously, let the agent know that you've got a level of interest within the property. Most buyers like to ask agents, where's the reserve? What's the owner want? They're quite common questions. Generally, with an auction, Glenn, we run all the way through an auction campaign, at which point we just say, look, it'll run to the day. Not in those words, but basically it'll run through to that day. But you've seen it, you like it. What do you want to do? What do you need to do to get ready to buy on auction day?
Let's use this one here.
Oh, that's a great property, Glenn. Where's this one? Let me move it a bit
This
forward.
is the magnificent 13 of 1 Baronia Street, DY.
Great street.
This is a deceased estate. The executors of the estate wish to dispose of the property or sell the property via the auction method.
Yep.
And they've given me very strict instructions to sell the property at auction. Once again, it's that transparent process where everyone can see where the market is and be satisfied that they've reached the highest price. So with this property here, what buyers have done is they've turned up to the open, they've looked at the property, they've decided that this one could be for them. They've asked me, will we sell before auction? Now with this one, the instructions are for the vendors to run to auction. Other properties that we have, the vendors are more than happy to sell before auction.
So what you're saying, Glenn, is not all properties that go to auction necessarily need to sell at auction.
No.
Different circumstances.
Just as the buyer may be nervous, not knowing the outcome, the owner would prefer not to go to auction too. So the agent will say, look, we're open to offers. One thing about offering prior to auction, if your offer's accepted, you've got to be ready to sign the contract unconditional. So no cooling off. Have you 10% ready, buy it, because that's the next question the agent or a good agent will ask. If this offer's accepted, will you sign unconditionally? When I was at Hookers, LJ Hooker, not other sorts of hookers, but at LJ Hooker, we wouldn't take an offer unless it was on an unconditional contract.
So just explaining to buyers who may not know, an unconditional contract is equivalent to a contract on auction day, basically meaning you would sign a contract, you will put down a full 10% deposit, and once that contract is accepted or exchanged is the term in the real estate industry, the sale's locked in. There's no cooling off period. You don't get 5 or 10 days to do any more background work. Once you bring in that deposit and that contract and it's all agreed to, the property's sold there and then. Okay,
so let's use that unit for example. What people need if they're going to come to the auction. So they've inspected the property, they like it.
Strata report? What about?
They'll get a strata report. They might do a building inspection. They'll have their solicitor look at the contract, and any amendments they want, they'll have their solicitor communicate with the vendor. This is very important. Communicate with the vendor's solicitor that they want these changes made. They might want to pay 5%. They might want a 6-week settlement instead of, a 4-week settlement instead of a 6-week settlement. And all those changes have to be in writing and agreed by both parties.
And this has to be done by when, Glenn?
Well,
prior to the auction?
Always prior to the auction.
Okay. So any changes you're making to the contract need to be discussed by both your solicitor, the seller, or the vendor's solicitor, and agreed to before you come on the day to start putting your hand up.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Correct. Good. Okay, so you like the property, you've got the strata report, you've got the contract, you've had the changes made. Auction day, auctions mean action. So what's the action going to be on the day? That's what I learned when I was in the Special Auction Police.
Oh, Special Forces.
Special Forces Police.
Auction Police.
Auction Police.
Sorry, where were we?
Auctions mean action.
Auctions mean action. So basically, look, Glenn, so let me take control now. We've seen the property. We've done all our background checks. We've had our any amendments or changes that we wish that our solicitor or ourselves wish to make to the contract have been discussed and agreed. And now we're at the day of the auction. We've turned up. We need to, once we do turn up, if you are looking to bid, you will need to find the agent and register to bid. What that basically means is the agent will need to take your details of the person who will be bidding. If you are bidding on behalf of somebody else, there is other documentation you'll need to provide. It's a bidder's authority, but a few other documentation, which if you've got someone bidding for you, you'll need to give them the authority and they'll need to bring that.
And to register, do I need identification?
Identification. So generally most agents work on a license. If you've got 2 or 3 different forms, all the better of identification. But essentially you'll come, we'll register, take your details.
License, passport, Medicare card, rates notice, police badge. If you've got a police badge, you can use that.
What's that say, Glenn?
Special police.
Oh, special.
Special auction police.
Great. So you want to have everything with you. And of course, you want to make sure that if you are the successful bidder, you've got a form of payment. So a 10% check you want to bring with you. If you can, a bank check is more preferred.
Yep. Bank check is preferred. Look, some companies that will be auctioning, they'll have a capacity where you can pay online instantly. You may transfer money into a trust account prior to auction.
What about Bitcoin? Have you ever heard of anyone buying probably Bitcoin?
What's the guy's name? Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. He's selling cars with Bitcoin.
Is he?
Yes.
There you go, guys.
Yes.
So you bring your Bitcoin if you know how that works.
Yeah. So that's how you would attend. Search a property, go to the open, do your due diligence, turn up on the day to buy the property under auction conditions. Good luck to you. Good luck to your family.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of putting your hand up and competing. A lot of people ask us, is there a strategy? They go to their uncle. He says, this is how you bid at auction. What's your advice, Glenn, when bidding at auction?
People I see very successfully bid at auction. They always open the bidding. No, they don't.
It's funny that, isn't it? The first bid. There's never a first bid. It's always silent.
Yeah.
No one wants to say anything.
Yeah.
But
look, all sorts of strategies work with all sorts of personalities. Really, the only strategy is to be the last bidder and to bid up to a level where you won't have regret. You won't wake up the next day thinking, gee, I should have gone 10,000 more. I'd have a house. But also bid up to a level that you can afford.
That you can afford, yes. So stick to your budget. Normally a bit of emotion comes in and you jump a little bit above it, but there's no right or wrong. Like Glenn said, you've got to put your hand up to be in it, and why not start early?
Start early, start often. Bid early, bid often. Look, starting early, the auction will get underway. We normally have a minute's silence at the start of every auction why no one wants to bid. However, in this market, stalling tactics or not bidding, the properties are getting sold. Record clearance rates of 87%, surpassing the boom of 2017, surpassing the boom of 2003, surpassing the boom of 1820 when I first started in real estate.
So to recap, a few different steps if you are attending the auction, but also be mindful to ask the agent if they would sell prior, because that property is advertised, has been indicated to be running to auction, doesn't necessarily mean that they won't consider selling prior to.
So one part we talked about the buyers. Let's talk about sellers.
So why would you sell a property at auction as opposed to a what we call a private treaty or a for sale type of a strategy on the marketplace? Glenn, obviously, as agents, it's great for us. It gives us, generally 3, 4, sometimes 5 weeks of open homes, gives us a chance to meet more people, build better relationships with you, and if this isn't a successful home for you, help you with further property we may have coming up. As a seller, Glenn, why were these guys so direct in saying, look, we want to run to auction with the sale of this apartment?
Look, with a deceased estate, obviously you're getting transparency. There's can't be a question that the executor or the agent favoured one buyer over another. Limited stock, where you have multiple buyers, that competition will drive up the price. That's another argument. Bearing in mind, for every argument for selling at auction, people will have another argument why not to sell at auction. Another reason could be if a property is hard to value.
That's true.
Okay, so if
something that's quite unique, it's got some really key features, that
or even with the magnificent 13 of 1 Baronia Street DY. This was a property. It's an original property purchased in 1972. One owner, nothing spent on it. So it's the perfect blank canvas. And I think by taking that to auction, we're going to flush out the real price for the property. Comparable sales are a little bit hard. We've had 30 people look at the property over a 4-week campaign. We've advertised the property, we've marketed the property. There's lots of cliches and sayings in real estate, but if you want 100% of the price, you've got to expose the property to 100% of the market. An auction definitely will do that.
It's a good exposure for consecutive weeks.
The other thing you might have parties in a dispute and unable to come up with a price they wish to sell an auction for, sell a property for, and both parties will see the price. Other agents that are probably on the auction special force police, they will champion the method of auction, and some trainers out there that train in real estate are also auctioneers. So they just believe that transparent competition is what drives the price. Now, the other argument to that could be off-market sales or pre-market sales, whereby you're getting qualified buyers to a property and you're using that fear of loss, that fear of control. If the property goes to market, they might lose out, and that's driving up really strong prices as well. So when deciding, do I go to auction, do I sell my property off market, do I sell it for sale, these strategies, it's really important that you discuss those
with your agent.
Of course, because even though the auction strategy might be the right thing for your property, it might not be the right thing for you as an owner. You might not like that 4-week campaign. You might not like turning up on the day and not knowing the outcome. So,
as an owner, Glenn, is there anything different that they need to do when selling the home as opposed to a for sale strategy?
Not really.
You want to have your home readily accessible, obviously, looking its best if you can. Pretty much just running those open home and buy appointment viewings leading up to the auction day. There's nothing different that you need to do.
No. So, when you're engaging an agent, when you're talking to an agent, these are the sorts of things that you're discussing with them and working out the best possible strategy for you. If an agent says, I take everything to auction, or the agent says, I only put properties for sale, that's a real cookie cutter approach. And they haven't really taken on board what's best for you, what's best for your property. By doing those two things, best for you, best for your property, you'll get the best price.
So recap, as a buyer, get in there, do your due diligence. So strata report, building or pest report if you're buying a home. Look at some comparable sales activity as well to help give you an idea on price. That's something, Glenn, that I guess we should touch on quickly. There's a lot of agents avoid the question of price. So as a buyer, obviously you want to try to determine, can I purchase this property or not? Can I afford this home? The agent's guiding, say hypothetically, 1 million. Is it going for $1 million? Is it going to go for 1.2, 1.5? A lot of buyers, these are common issues that buyers come against. I would say, in an effort to help you make a better decision come auction day, it's very easy now to see what's sold in the suburb. You can jump onto realestate.com, you click the sold tab, you punch in your suburb, and it'll bring in all the addresses. So as much as the agent will guide you, it's very easy for yourselves as a buyer now to jump in and see what has been selling and try to compare those to the home you're looking at.
As
well. It's frustrating when you ask an agent, what's the price? Oh, I don't know. The market will dictate it come auction day.
I can't talk for other areas, but I do know on the beaches, 99.9% of the agents will give you a pretty good idea where the property's sitting. One question you could ask them is, look, I really like this property. What comparables should I look at? What houses do you think are similar? What apartments do you think are similar? I think also too, if you're sort of open with the agent. Look, my capacity, or I'm only really thinking of going to this property. Is it worth me coming to the auction? Bearing in mind is that normally we'll know where an auction will start, where it will sort of peter out, but where it actually finishes, we don't know.
We don't know.
You know, like you might, as an agent, have an auction where you've given out 30 contracts. Leading into the auction, you've got 10 people that hold interest. You know that by auction day they'll halve down to 5. By the time we go to auction, it might be really 3 people that are bidding. How high they actually go, that will only depend on, you know, where the buyers are at in terms of their determination to secure a property. So you get an auction where 2 buyers both have sold their property and, you know, they've only got 6 weeks till they're out. They're gonna drive that right along, you know.
Absolutely.
It's that motivation behind the buyer, and you know, people will argue you should know that. Some agents out there keep their cards against their chest. A lot of buyers do as well. So you might not uncover that until they're driven, you know, right to the end of the auction. But yeah, ask for comparable sales. I think that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good way to go. That doesn't, or it also doesn't get the agent feeling pressured that they have to give out a figure, which could, if you get 2 buyers really driving that auction along, seem like a low figure later on. You know. So those sorts of questions are good to ask. Bear in mind, if you make an offer and it's accepted, the agent really has to ring up everyone else as well that's inquired about the property. So you may end up with a situation where you've triggered a silent auction, and that transparency is lost as well. The more open sort of dialogue you can have and be open about what you're trying to achieve, what you want to spend with the agent, I think you'll get that back. You know,
and I'll just go out and say, and this is my own personal opinion, I'm going to work on the presumption that most agents we're pretty good people at the end of the day. Glen's a great guy. I'm a good man. You know, the people here at Novak Properties are good people. But have the conversations with the agents. Don't feel like it's a us and a them mentality. The agents, our job is to facilitate the sale of the property. We want to help you the best we can. So if you've got questions, you know, come to us. We want to open up. It's not in our interest to withhold information from you. If you're a genuine buyer, we want to help you make the best buying decision you can make as well. So
look, most agents on the beaches, you know, are long-term agents. Long-term agents. You can only do that in a insular little peninsula like here if you're doing the right thing. Always talk to your agent before. You know, if you're a seller, talk to the agent and say, hey, you know, would an auction work for me? And then open it up from there. Yeah,
sounds great. Glen, like always, we're always available. If you guys have got any questions, give us a call. Call the team here at Novak Properties. Love to help you through, guide you through any processes you're going through. You don't have to be on the northern beaches. You can be anywhere in Sydney. You might be in Melbourne or Brisbane or Adelaide or Perth, anywhere. You know, we're more than happy to try to help you, you know, with the buying process during an auction campaign.
Yep. All right. Good night.
Signing off, Sergeant signing off. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for joining us again on another Monday night. See you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.